It's going to be a long one. No, I'm just reminding everybody of the format. Let's kick back off. ESC versus TSM. We'd highlighted Bard. We'd highlighted Twisted Fate. Those two may be looking a little bit more at the ESC side. Crepo, if I was looking at TSM, what would they consider maybe having banned against them or banning out themselves?
I mean, they're thinking about, usually purple side, about conventional power picks. Gangplank is still strong here. Might not want to give that away. It is weak in the early game, though. May play into TSM's hand. I think you should ban Italy. I don't think you can expect to get it. Or if you leave it open, to at least trade it for 2 power picks. I don't know what the synergy's like between Doublelift and Yellowstar for any Kalistar lanes, because then you actually have to stay together a lot, which is counterintuitive to what Yellowstar wants to do.
Yeah, I think that as far as Italy bans go, Ares actually is not a jungler that I think is very well suited to this meta. I mean, we do see like a lot of Rek'Sai out of him, so he's still more of a tanky style jungler, generally speaking. So I think Svenskeren at least has an opportunity to invade here if his lanes allow them that. So I think if I'm ever here, I try and avoid perhaps some of the aggressive picks from TSM or some very heavy wave clear picks. That way you can keep Svenskeren in check.
All right, we'll see if Svenskeren will be held in check. The players were in the lobby, started it, realized they were in the wrong order to drop out of the lobby and recreate
We're finding new creative ways to restart Champs League.
It is a shaky start. Both ESC Ever and TSM flown a long way to be on the stage, and maybe feeling a little bit of the nerves. We'll see how they handle themselves. Unfortunately, we do have another dropout, so I can't guarantee what's happening now. I'll wait for production to give me an update.
We should probably get someone from Twitch chat on as well, because I think they've got good insight on TSM right now. I believe they've had their comms open for a while, so they've had their deep in workings of TSM. I've listened to those guys during pauses before. They're deep.
Oh, really? Really? Care to enlighten us and maybe some of the rest of the viewers at home?
Well, I mean, let's face it. You've done a lot of PTO in the past.
Unfortunately.
Those listen-ins,
they
offer a lot of insight at what the teams go through.
I had to eat a hot pepper for that, and I don't eat spicy food, and it was not a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
Would not recommend. Let's step back and take a look at the other two teams. We've spoken so much about ESC and TSM. The other two teams in the group will be Origin and RNG, Royal Never Give Up. Let's hope production, maybe we got a team roster for Origin. If we can pull that up, just remind everybody of the other European squad here that is not Fnatic. We're going to start with RNG, in fact.
We're not going to start with RNG.
We could have stuck with it. We could have stuck with it because we're going to get there anyway.
If you have some issues with Origin, though, I got them in my head, though. I just
do you? Can you remember who they are?
Yeah.
Soaz
plays top lane.
Amazing.
Expect in the mid lane. Oh, wait. Oh.
But it's time for the curveball, because Niels changed his name to Sven, so that's where you can kind of go off track there.
Yeah,
right. What chances do Origin have against ESC, against TSM, and against RNG? Let's talk about this squad for a little bit.
RNG is probably their toughest matchup. I think that's where we'll learn a lot from watching Origin play, because I don't know, every time you count them out, they come back somewhat for one match to give you false hope, and then they start going back in the dumpster again, especially with around Soaz, whether he performs or not, whether he gets resources or not. But Origin right now are looking incredibly shaky. But the rest of the group, I have no clue how good Ever's going to be. TSM could easily lose to Origin, and RNG could win the whole thing, just 2 wins, go straight to first seed, and then Origin win second seed through the loser bracket. That is definitely one potential outcome.
I mean, you had the polar opposites that, just last week you guys did in the LCS. The 809 Soaz and then a 181 with that teleport, which I'd never laughed so hard watching League of Legends in my life when he teleported in against that half hit point with Quinn and just died instantly.
There was a few of those problems. Ladies and gentlemen,
yes, picks
and bans for ESC Ever versus Team
We got through it, boys.
We have bans, so let's not get ahead of ourselves.
That is very true.
Yeah, that's right, knock on wood.
That's the catch-up. LeBlanc, Kog'Maw, Braum, Lulu. No big surprises here. The Twisted Fate's still available. The Bard maybe not as ban-worthy in the current meta, but Lucian is the one that is screaming out to me now.
Yeah, or Alistar. If you watch a lot of LCK or you cast a lot of LCK, you probably know Alistar is pretty highly regarded there in terms of support picks right now. Corki's off. That obviously increases the market value of a Lucian. So TSM is saying, like, do you want the Alistar? Do you want the Lucian? You make one decision here. And more than that, TSM can get the Nidalee off the back of that one. So they will definitely have a strong 1-for-2 trade here in the opening rotation.
So what does the ESC take? Do they take the Nidalee? Do they consider the Lucian if it were
I think they take
That's
Lucian.
what they go with?
I think they take Lucian here.
And instead, maybe going to look elsewhere. Ares as a jungler, considering the jungle pool's not severely hit. If I recall correctly, Monty, you were talking about Rek'Sai for him.
Yeah,
so
this
Rek'Sai
confuses
or
me.
Graves?
Well, there's also, of course, Rek'Sai or Graves here, more farming style of junglers, but Svenskeren, he can just default to the Kindred right now. I actually don't see a very high priority necessary on the Graves in this particular draft.
Could be a flex and a comfort pick for top if you want to keep Hanser in check. You know, there is not a simpler lane to play than AFK push Graves in the top lane.
True.
And then you can resort to safer picks in bot and mid. Definitely having the flex available is fine. I don't think the Graves would have been that high priority though. But we'll see. It is a strong duelist though, so it kind of makes it risky to play in Italy. If you invade the wrong side or the wrong time and Graves spots you, he can burst you very quickly in the jungle.
D-Man, what would you like to see now?
Well, I'm hoping for God we don't see Nautilus or Malphite or just basically all the tanks that will come out. Alistair, yeah, that's a given. I mean, Alistair's been around forever and a day. Ezreal, there we go.
It's interesting, actually.
I'm happy now. We got a bit of aggression in there, at least.
Well, I think the thing about Ezreal, though, is that it has such a strong ramp time, and I don't think you want to play ramping champions into Ever because they are going to try and fight you very early in the game, and I just don't think that's a very good strategy for winning against them.
Yeah, the one thing it does well, though, is play fine 1v2 to let the Alistar roam. He gets the Alistar, one of the more signature champions for him roaming-wise that he likes to play, so he's not stuck on like a Janna that kind of has to stay with his AD carry. But I would have just liked to see Alistar Lucian, such a strong lane overall.
I agree.
And now you will most definitely run into a Lucian, so you kind of know that that's coming. And generally, it is a losing matchup pressure-wise. I don't think you lose much CS because Alistar can keep the Ezreal alive, and Ezreal can kind of always farm. But you just put yourself at a pressure disadvantage against a team that needs to snowball. So it's playing with fire.
With Corki off the table, is there any possibility of Bjergsen taking Ezreal mid and then locking Lucian in, or do you think that's not likely at all?
I mean, there would be, but why would you flex that to then like late pick the Lucian when they can just steal it away at any given moment?
Yeah.
Like at this point, TSM will have to pick it here if they want to do that, and obviously Ever is waiting with the Lucian pick.
I mean, don't forget, Bjergsen is a damn good Ezreal player. I remember at the All-Stars, he went rampant on that, but...
Not quite the same Ezreal these days.
Not really the same these days.
No, I feel like Bjergsen hasn't necessarily hard carried as much as he did in previous seasons.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a changing meta
It's
as
the hand
well.
wraps, obviously.
They're holding the Bjergsen pick for 5th as expected here. They have pretty tough matchups though in the top lane. Fiora versus Nautilus early. Nautilus can push that in a lot early game. Graves is locked into the jungle obviously with that Nautilus pickup. And then in the bottom lane, whatever they pick here will likely have the push advantage. So we have 2 pushing lanes already. So Bjergsen will definitely need to pick a strong pick against whatever Tempt plays here in the mid lane.
Yeah, and I mean, with the Twisted Fate already covered, this is what I was really afraid of because I think that this really plays into Ever's playstyle where they want to use those teleports, they want to constantly fight you. They're going to have that winning Lucian matchup. Graves can really apply the pressure in the jungle alongside a Twisted Fate. So I think Ever's really getting everything they want in terms of their typical playstyle that we've seen.
Bjerg might go back to Syndra here, actually, because LeBlanc spanned out. That's kind of an aggressive move into the TF. You can play Cassadin, but then you lose the push pressure. You're now being pushed into 3 lanes, so definitely don't want to do that. You could go safe lane for Victor. Don't really like that too much. Maybe like a Zillion would actually be nice here. That's something I would like to see.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Zillion unless you can couple him with a lot of strong diving champions, and obviously Alistair doesn't need the chrono shift in order to dive efficiently, so I usually like to see him with Poppy or something that can really go all in. That's been, I think, the best across the world when we've seen the Zillion Poppy combination. So Fiora here, they're looking to split push. This is not something that's been very terribly effective from TSM. I think they have to pick some form of wave clear. It will be actually the Lissandra coming in.
I think it's meeting in the middle. So it's some defensive wave clear if you combine it with somebody else in that lane, and at least you have aggro. Like Lissandra at least can completely destroy TF in the mid lane, and that seems to be the goal. As long as this Hanser can survive now in the top lane on that Fiora and not lose 2v1 against Graves Nautilus, it's rough. Or TSM just, maybe hide him in the lane swap.
I think this is interesting too because Tempt always likes to play with the teleport on the Twisted Fate. So I think a lot of mid laners in this circumstance would actually switch over to Cleanse, but we're not seeing that so far. Against a Lissandra at least, most Twisted Fates would switch to Cleanse in this particular instance, but he's just going hard for it, and they just want to get out of lane and fight elsewhere outside and away from Bjergsen.
TSM has the lane swap though, I think.
Yes.
Bar Lucian with Ignite, Nautilus top with the push pressure, and Graves that can just come in the lane and bully Fiora. I think if they don't lane swap, they will have an incredibly rough early game.
Lane swap. Let's see if they actually get their hands on it. The team comps are locked in. Gentlemen, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to predict the winner. Crepo, who will take this one? ESC Ever or Team Solo Mid now that you've seen the draft?
I don't know, man. I like Ever's draft a little
Yeah.
more, but I think TSM is still going to take it.
Yeah, exactly. I really like Ever's draft, actually. But I am going to go with TSM just because they're the Western team.
I think that wow. I think that ESC Ever has a really good shot here to win. They're on comfort picks. We did see Tempt actually switch over to that cleanse, which I think is actually a wise move. And we're going to get into this game, but I favor, it's a coin flip, I'd say 50-50. I'm going to take ESC Ever, so I'll call it 51% 49 because I really don't know.
Oh, you're playing it so safe. Ladies and gentlemen, the teams are locked in. We're going to head over to meet our casters for Game 1 of the World Championships.
Hey guys, welcome to game number 1 of League of Legends here at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. I'm Doa. That's Monte Cristo or Deficio. I'm not sure anymore. I don't know. My whole worldview has been shattered at this point. But that doesn't change the fact that we're about to go into Ever versus TSM. I'm excited, man, because this one, it's going to be a bit messy, I think.
Yeah, a lot of team fighting probably coming, just if we look at how these teams like to play. Obviously, Ever is not the team who's making a lot of moves in the early game, but the same can be said for Team Solo Mid. They're
True.
very passive often, but then we get these big late game fights. Obviously, quite a lot of split pushing coming in this match. We have Fiora picked, Twisted Fate, of course, for Tempt in the mid lane. So we might see a lot of small fights in side lanes and then get this one big fight later on around the Baron.
Yeah, and one of the fun things to watch with ESC Ever is that these guys just go so ham in the late game. They're like, all right, this is the point in the game where we fight, and then we are going to fight for the rest of the game. And, you know, if we win, great, we'll win through fighting. If we don't, we'll lose because we lost a fight.
And this is just pure comfort picks.
Yeah.
Forever. With everything they've locked in here, Twisted Fate in the mid lane, because as you just said here, they like to fight and they like to use globals a lot. So like you put Crazy to just start split pushing on top lane. If you try and gank him, the other 4 members will just force a team fight elsewhere on the map. And they have so many options with TP top laner, obviously the Twisted Fate, but I do think the Lissandra pick kind of saved everything for Team Solo Mid.
Well, we will see, and welcome to Summoner's Rift, guys, for our first game here at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships, ESC Ever versus Team Solo Mid. And we will see who comes out on top. Should be interesting. I mean, this is a huge match for both of these teams. I mean, Ever's come all the way from Korea. They're still a challenger team. TSM, you know, struggling a little bit in NA, but if they lose the first game of this tournament to a second-place challenger team from Korea, that's going to be a tough one to stomach.
And that's kind of the problem, I feel, for Team Solo Mid. The pressure's on them and also on Crazy.
Wow, speaking of pressure, has to flash, gets exhausted, trying to get away from this one. There's a knockup, and first blood goes over to TSM already. Doublelift picking that one up, and I guess you can't really ask for a better start than that, can you?
No, a little bit of odd movement for Crazy. Normally, if you move up on top side, actually it's team mid. Or fighting in the jungle, level 1.
I said it was going to be messy. I told you this was going to happen, man.
Good start. Bart gets a little bit extra gold, but Crazy walking into the river. Normally, you would always see the enemy move in towards you, and you can like back away in time. Worst case, just instant flash over the wall.
Yeah.
Clearly, he felt like he could just walk away. Gives up a very easy first blood, and onto Doublelift. So this is important for Team Solo Mid because Doublelift and Yellow Star, the 2v2 lane, it's not been looking great. They need every bit of help they can get.
Well, first blood on your AD carry, man. I mean, that is certainly going to help. We'll see if he actually goes back and picks up anything pretty early, but he doesn't really need to, you know? They can kind of wait this out.
Yeah, so they had the wards, TSM, but Ever was waiting in mid lane with Key and Loken, if you guys noticed. And Key now is in trouble.
Key knocked up with that pulverize, taking a lot of damage too. Sven scaring him. Doublelift still there. Key has to flash, barely makes it out. Loken had to pop that summoner heal. And
What's
Ever,
going on?
man, well, I don't know. They're a second place challenger team.
Challenger strategies from
good.
Ever here?
They're good. They won Cologne. They've proven they can be good, but it's still really different. I mean, if you look at this team too, Tempt, their newish mid laner, this is the first time he's ever been out of Korea, and he didn't even live in Seoul. This kid lives out in the country. He'd only been to Seoul like twice in his life, so huge change for him to be kind of dealing with the stage, dealing with this situation, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if we see some nerves come into it a bit.
I agree with you. I think definitely around the mid lane, also because Bjergsen is a very strong mid laner. He will look to pressure you against Tempt on the Twisted Fate, but just to go back again to that level 1, TSM invaded, they put down the vision to see, is there gonna be a lane swap? Ever decided to say, we want the 2v2 lane, so we wait in mid lane with Loken and Key, sneak in, but then get very greedy trying to stop that Grump.
Yep. Uh-oh. It's pause time, Deficio.
So we have more time to talk.
That's right.
The players are doing it for us.
What would you like to talk about?
Oh, I would like to talk.
You were making a point. That sounded fascinating.
True, yeah. I mean,
Go
the
ahead.
point was kind of over because then they
Oh.
walked into the grump and said, "Hi guys, let's 2v2 the junglers here."
Yeah.
And Bard has no flash now. He can't play as aggressive.
Yeah, and I mean, that bot lane of Lucian Bard is super strong anyway.
is.
It seemed a little bit risky when we saw in pick and ban TSM giving that one over, but you know, I suppose if you get a couple kills, couple summoners out of the way early, that kind of solves that problem, doesn't it?
Kind of throws the pick and ban phase out of the window.
Yeah.
If you just give up so many early things. But again, the pick and ban phase, I liked it from Ever. I don't 100% agree on first picking Graves. I don't think you have to. Western teams don't pick him very early. It's
Well,
more like Nidalee, Kindred, Elise, these kind of picks.
It's an odd priority for Korea as well. We don't see
Right.
really a lot of Graves first picks right now. It's a lot of Kalista, a lot of Alistar.
Now, he's obviously a very safe pick in a lot of ways. He fits in a lot of different compositions. He doesn't really have any straight hard counters in the jungle. Still surprising, I would actually love to see just the Fiora first pick, because Hansa is a good Fiora player, and I feel like when you play against Ever, if you can beat Crazy in the split push, you ruin a lot of what they like to do. Because again, it's this 4-1 setup, a Crazy split pushing, and then you have the 4-man in the mid lane, and then you TP straight onto him. So I would like to see Ever just first pick that Fiora, because now TSM has a good advantage, because Hansa will win that 1v1. So that is a possibility for Team Solomid to just punish the split push, force Ever to only 5-on-5 at all times, and that changes the way they like to play.
Oh, looks like we're back in the game again. Key
Lot
getting a
of
little bit low,
trading.
so's Doublelift. Arcane shifting away. Yeah, some pretty hugely aggressive trading from this duo, but again, we were expecting it to be pretty aggressive.
And we need to see more now from Doublelift and Yellowstar. They played this Ezreal Alistar combo against Team Liquid and got destroyed because they completely disrespected level 2 all-ins. Obviously, that's not going to be the case now. Early experience from the kill. You're now pushing the lane, so Safer, they're actually just looking to farm. They don't really necessarily want to kill anyone. It's more about what can Hansa do on the bottom side against this Nautilus.
Right, I mean, this Ezreal's going to take some time to power up anyways.
He's going to get a tier now, and then he's just going to sit and farm.
Yeah, pretty much. You're going to go back. We'll see what they decide to pick up early, that tier, of course. And now Crazy versus Hanser. I mean, they've got the solo lanes here. Here comes Ares. And there's a nice grab onto Hanser. Hanser has his flash if he needs to use it, and decides he's going to be just fine. He is. No summoners used, so a nice gank attempt. Might force him out of lane for the moment anyway.
Yeah, should force a teleport from him.
Little TP edge for Ever for the next few minutes anyway.
But also with this early start, I feel like Team Solomid got almost everything they wanted, because in my mind, standard lanes are actually the best for them. In this case, as long as Doublelift and Yellowstar can survive 2v2, because it puts Bjergsen in the 1v1 mid lane where he can at level 6 gank tempt with the Elise and win the 2v2 very easily. He's in trouble.
Yeah, huge trouble, man. He doesn't have his flash yet. There's no way he's getting out of this one. And that's another kill over to TSM. Yellowstar picking up that.
And this is just what I started mentioning. You know, this 2v2 in mid lane from Svensson and Bjergsen, it's what has been lacking, honestly, for this team in North America. They've been picking like Orianna and just farming mid lane, and Svensson could never invade and never play aggressive. And then you don't utilize him as a jungler. If you just tell him, oh, just place wards and be a team fighter. He's not very good at that.
Well, it seemed like when you watched TSM recently, trust was a major issue too. Nobody seemed to be on the same page as far as shot calling goes. Everyone seemed kind of scattered and sort of like making their own decisions. And now we're seeing this really great synergy between the support and jungle, and it's really taking apart Ever so far.
And again, that's what I like about having the standard lanes for Team Solomid. And on top of that, instead of them struggling in the lane, they got that first blood. So they've been basically getting everything, because even in a lane swap, it would have been fine. You dodged the 2v2 lane. Hansa just wouldn't be able to get this one-on-one, and he could farm equally or even pressure Nautilus. And also Svensson wouldn't be able to gank. So you would kind of nullify Elise's impact early on, together with a Fiora and Lissandra. Two good lanes for you to gank, because two very strong laners early on. So I really like TSM having the standard lanes, having that early first blood, and we have already seen the impact from Svensson. He just needs to play around bottom side now.
Yeah.
Because you do not want to let Fiora get ganked and fall behind. You want her to snowball, and you have that split pushing threat that shuts down whatever likes to do normally.
Well, it makes it just all the more important that Hanser didn't need to use his flash when that gank came in from Ever a little bit earlier. It's interesting to see Ares taking this Graves out too, as we see him stealing the wolves over on TSM's side of the jungle, because like the analyst has talked about, this is a guy that plays a lot more kind of tanky junglers, the Rek'Sai, the slower moving CC sort of junglers rather than the carry jungler like Graves.
Obviously a different style for him. He likes to invade a lot, which you can do on a Rek'Sai because she's very safe. You can always tunnel out if needed.
Right.
So, but he likes to invade. He likes to put down early vision more than ganking straight up. potential dive on bottom side. TSM is spotted already. Bjergsen
Yeah, they've got good vision. Here comes Twisted Faith. They're going to try to make a play onto Hanser. Tempt trying to get there with his gold card, loads it up.
Oh, wow.
Okay, there we go. There's the gold card. Air's in a little bit of trouble. Tries to dodge into the bush to avoid some damage. Can't avoid enough. Another kill for TSM. Tempt is going to go down as well. And TSM is just destroying ESC Ever at this point.
It's just too predictable,
it's
though.
not done
Tracy's
yet.
going to go down as well.
Yeah, a couple flashes used, and that Nautilus is going to have a hard time making it out. He's tanky, but he's not that tanky. There it goes. 5 kills to 0 already for TSM.
Ever just not respecting how predictable the play they're making is. Because, like, you can see on your minimap, Bjergsen has already moved down.
Oh, they knew where
Svensson is
Ares
running
was.
from base. They knew everything that was going to happen here. I like how Hansa goes aggressive, doesn't get caught on the tower at first and just locked down. He actually jumps onto Ever and then starts kiting backwards.
Yeah.
And then just waiting. This is team joining in. Obviously now you are going to be extremely weak at this point. Ares as well completely missing his damage on this Graves.
It was pretty messy, and Ever really has a lot of work to do if they're going to be able to pull this one back. It's already pretty out of control. I mean, 2K gold deficit or 3K gold deficit already for Ever at just 8 minutes into the game. Man.
And this Lissandra pick is going to have so much impact. I really felt like it saved the draft for TSM as the last pick, because it forces the cleanse from Twisted Fate, so that removes the global, obviously. Second, you can play aggressive with it together with a jungler like Elise. And obviously Bjergsen is a good split pusher on a pick like Lissandra, so he can actually match whatever side lane pressure Ever will ever have and just follow. Because we just saw what happened. Now we have early kills on every single member.
I mean, we know how important the first couple ganks that a Twisted Fate tries are for just getting that TF ahead. It's a character that can fall off pretty quickly. I mean, if he loses mid lane turret at some point, and yeah, he has no damage right now.
He's building Rod of Ages as his first item, despite falling behind.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
again,
going to be a late Rod now, and
Ever is not looking to go late game against this lineup from Team Solo Mid. Fiora will completely outscale the Nautilus. Ezreal has a great late game. Alistar is a great frontline support. I feel like you wanted more impact in the early game. You could even rush a Lich Bane, if that is, and just try and play a lot more aggressive around this Bard Lucian lane.
well, yeah, you'd think that if they want to do something aggressive to catch up, to make up for losing that early, kill or two, you wouldn't try going for Rod of Ages, would you?
No, I'm not a fan of it. It's too slow, in my opinion. Also, it leaves you too weak. When the other mid laner can follow you, you need early game impact, not a catalyst and scaling up. And there's also a big difference in how you build your Rod of Ages, because you actually want to start blasting one first,
Right.
just to get some early power, and then you go catalyst after. Just building catalyst kind of surrenders everything you want to do as an aggressive player, and you just kind of play sustain in lane.
And see, now he just picked up the Blasting Wand, too, so not even finishing that Catalyst, just going to sit there with a couple crystals in his inventory.
Looking rough forever,
Little bit.
definitely. Forever,
Yeah.
forever. It's
Forever,
looking
ever?
rough.
Forever, ever?
Forever, ever. It's looking rough.
I mean, this game is going to be hard to come back from, obviously. It's a huge deficit early on, and TP coming in from TSM. They're going to try to find Key and Loken, it looks like. And yeah, this could be bad. Yellowstar goes in. Temp tries to join the fight, but already Ever losing nearly everybody. They finally get the kill down onto Yellowstar, but another easy win under turret there for TSM.
Yeah, just TP advantage for Team Solo Mid, because Crazy had to use his back to lane before. That means Hansa can set up a play with the rest of the team roaming. Ares is in trouble
Ares.
as well.
He knew TSM was close by.
do it.
I don't know why he's walking through there, man.
It's like, I need to do Grump.
Yeah.
They just 5-man dive my top lane.
It's not a good time to do crime.
Let's do Grump, boys. We need that Grump right now. Crazy will get a bot lane tower, but that's about it forever.
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 Yeah, forever, ever.
Gotta remember to pause in between. Forever.
For them. Just say for them. And people
For them.
assume we're saying ever from now on. We'll just make it work. That turret not even dying yet to Crazy. Let's watch a replay of this. I mean, there was just nothing that ESC could do, and Tempt is like, I want to die too.
Yeah, trying again to assist the team. Yellowstar is not level 6, that's why he goes down, actually gets it just when he dies in the very end. But it all starts with the mid lane. Lissandra can push in the Twisted Fate, who was sitting on those, Mana Crystal, Ruby Crystal, and
Why?
I mean,
Why?
maybe the Grump said something about him, I'm not sure.
Maybe. That Grump insulted Graves' mother, man.
I mean, such an odd play from Ares here. Just top lane is dying, better do Grump.
That's right. It's like, well, I can't help them, but I can help myself by killing this grump. Great idea. Well, I mean, I feel like every time there's a pause, we're like, well, they're more behind than they were a few minutes ago now, aren't they? I mean, it's
It
up
just
to
snowballs.
about 4K. Yeah, it really is. I mean, to be fair, TSM's doing a very good job of snowballing this game quickly, too.
I mean, it's been about Team Solomid predicting, okay, Ever is going to go for this gank in bottom lane because they've been playing around bottom side.
Yeah.
Bjergsen moves down because, again, he's pushing out. He's like, I cannot stress this enough. Pushing mid lane first constantly allows Bjergsen to roam. He's doing exactly the same thing again. Crazy's now in trouble.
Yeah, there's a flash from Crazy trying to get away since Garen is right there, though. Can't make it out to that turret. Makes it to the wall. Haunts are there, too. They can dive this easily. Yeah, another kill for TSM. Another one on to Sven Garen. Ever taking a chunk out of the mid lane turret, but that's not a lot. In fact, they may get cut off by Yellowstar and Doublelift coming in here.
Yeah.
No, they'll be able to get away. All right,
Well,
Key was there, I suppose.
Just applying a bit of pressure, forcing them
Yeah.
off the tower. Hansa will be able to take the bot lane. So once again, Team Solomid is getting almost everything on the map. And this is what happens, you know, if teams execute properly, when you're this far behind at 12 minutes, you're not supposed to win the game.
Yeah.
Like, you are supposed to continue to just fall further and further behind because there's no map pressure for you. Your members are too weak to fight. Often you have to use your flashes defensively instead of offensively, and then you become reactive instead of proactive. And
Right.
more and more of the map is just gone. Hansa with Sven will be able to take a very easy bot tower as well.
You can't really be a reactive team with a Twisted Fate either, can you? That's a very much kind of take charge sort of champion.
Especially also when you're against double teleport yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if you're reacting to a gank, well, the other mid laner is going to follow, and then you're weaker. So, great start for Team Solomid.
Yeah, and I mean, it's such a big statement too, because coming into this, a lot of people were saying it's kind of 50-50. Ever's been looking pretty good in Korea. They won IEM Cologne, you know, while at the same time in North America, TSM seems to be really struggling with this roster that looks great on paper, but just hasn't been able to, you know, make it work as well as people expected. But so far in this game, there's no question about who the better looking team is right now.
And it all started level 1. Crazy dying, then Key invading in, getting caught as well, using his summoners, trying to escape. And then TSM had these standard lanes where they had an advantage in what was supposed to be the losing lane because of that first blood. And then everything can just slowly but surely fall apart forever. At this point, you are looking at Team Solomid overextending, potentially, forever to go in and respond, but you gotta get rid of this teleport from Bjergsen, otherwise Tempt will never join alone. He will always have Bjergsen following him to every single lane he's going to.
Yeah, I don't know if ESC Ever is the type of team, too, to play patient enough to take
Normally
advantage
not.
of a team that is, you know, overextending as well. Again, you know, these guys are a team that likes to just get in there and fight constantly, and so they're not going to really be patient, you know? Probably not.
Probably not, at least not the playstyle we have seen
No.
from Ever. Also, what they showed at IEM Cologne, where they did obviously win and qualify back in the off-season.
Yep. That was
A lot
a
of the other
weird
rosters win.
time for
It
League
was.
of Legends, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of the teams came in with like 2 days of practice, and then Ever came in after doing so well in the Kesper Cup and obviously being ready.
Brand
Lost
new
the mid laner.
rosters, yeah.
Athena is gone. He's with EDG now.
Yep, that's right. Went over to China. And when they picked up Temp for the mid lane, as we see TSM take this first drag, and I was talking to Ever's owner, and they said this is a kid that just, again, you know, lived out in the country, didn't play with anyone, just only played on solo queue, made it to Challenger in Korea by himself with like no outside influence, and that they're like, now that's someone with real individual talent. Yellowstar getting a little bit slowed up, but he's going to be able to make it out just fine. And so they brought him in. It's been working well, but ton of pressure on this kid right now as TSM dives into the mid lane. Tempt going to go ahead and get stopped for a moment by that Bard out. Bjergsen trapped between Loken and Key right now. Bjergsen getting low. Loken picks up a kill, and Ever actually forcing TSM back a bit. They lost their turret, though.
Gets the turret because, again, Team Solomid are so far ahead, but
Right.
forgetting what they need to do.
It was a
just-
bit
just for
disjointed,
moment.
wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you do not need to dive mid lane at all with this composition. You just want to split push with the Fiora over and over. Twisted Fate has no impact because Lissandra can follow. Play that style, push 2 lanes at once, use the strong Fiora to bully the Nautilus, and then you can always rotate to the lane and take tower. Diving between 2 towers is where Ever will have a slight chance to come back. Obviously, they get mid tower, so it's still technically a win for Team Solomid. But we can see this actually gives Ever a chance to take a proper team fight.
It's a good tempered fate by Key as well.
Slows up everything, and then Bjergsen goes very deep.
Yeah.
Rest of TSM is like finishing the tower, can't really follow through. So just a little bit too aggressive also from Bjergsen with his engaging, thinking he could one-shot Logan.
You know, and we talked about ESC Ever struggling maybe if we go into later stages of the game, but if you give that Lucian items, if you give this guy kills and gold, Lucian's going to get extremely strong. And if you pair that with a Graves, you know, if Nautilus gets tanky, it's going to be tough, but you do have to be a little bit worried if you're TSM, you know?
A little bit. For now,
you can't let that happen again.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do this like over and over and over.
Yeah.
They still have double TP. They're back in the side lanes. You can see the 1-3-1 on your minimap with Hansa in the top lane, Bjergsen in the bottom lane. And this is where Ever won't have much of a response. Because if you put the Twisted Fate in the side lane, he's a super easy gank for an Elise, first of all. But also, both these soul laners can kill him, like just on their own. So it's super difficult for Tem to find a place. And also remember the Twisted Fate ulti. The range obviously is a bit of an issue compared to a teleport.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't have that complete global range that the Summoner spell has.
And I like this now from both Svensson and Yellowstar. This is what we need to see. Push those two lanes, we just talked about it. Set up your deep vision, and then let Hansa be the bully. Push in this lane, and then you can just rotate from mid to top and poke away in the tower a little bit. Poke every single time, just chip it away. As long as you keep the deep vision. He really wants these jungle camps. Ares is still
He
with
really
the whole
does,
team.
man. I mean, we saw his commitment to jungle camps with that Gromp attempt, yeah. Loken's going to try to cull TSM away there for the moment. But now, I mean, TSM can just, you know, they've already set up vision around Baron.
Yeah,
They've got
pressure.
pretty much complete control of the map right now.
As soon as they see Loken on bottom side here, they can force a play. Now you can actually dive a tower because the AD carry is stuck there.
Yeah.
For now, though, the team is playing in a little bit safe. Maybe after that play before, they were kind of like, okay, calm down, everyone. Yes, we're far ahead. So, like, now you can make a play on mid tower because Loken has to run from the bottom lane, and he has obviously nothing he can do at this point.
Yep, trying to get up there. But that turret's already pretty much dead.
Bjergsen goes back bot lane now. Push out that lane as well. If you want to play super safe, that is. Always push out all three lanes. They are grouping mid, though. So once again, you are giving Ever a slight chance of a team fight. But you are so far ahead that you should be able to win these fights no matter what. But I want to see Bjergsen just go back bot lane, push it out.
You got your wish.
Thank you, Bjergsen.
He doesn't get the Krugs, though.
And he doesn't get the pink
ward
ward either.
He doesn't kill the pink ward.
Doesn't care, man.
Yeah. I mean, what's Ever going to do? You know, they can't really come after him as a team. They're going to lose their mid lane turret if they do that.
Tell his mom maybe. He's been a naughty boy.
Yep.
That's been about it for Ever right now. And we're back with the Gromp.
Yeah. Well, he's going to get it this time. He's not going to die to that Gromp or to anyone near the Gromp. There we go.
Now he's happy.
That's right. Redemption for Ares. He finally got the Gromp. What a guy. And meanwhile, Double F, I mean, just pushing in mid lane. It's pretty standard stuff. TSM, I mean, it's smart, like you said, to just back off, play a little bit safely. You've got a huge lead. No need to stretch things any farther than necessary.
And this is the point where being an AD carry is super fun. Because your job is to sit mid lane. When the enemy minions show up, you shoot them in the face.
Yeah.
And then you run away if you see anyone.
Wow.
All you have to do is just push away.
That's fun to you, huh?
I mean, I used to get carried quite a lot, so that was my kind of role. Just pushing the lanes with my AD carry and then wait for the side lanes to win.
I see. He's killing minions. I was too busy traveling around the map, making plays, getting kills, making my AD carry leave the game because I was taking his kills. I'm like, that's okay. We didn't need that Vayne anyway.
And now you're stuck on the caster desk instead of playing this game.
That's
this
right.
Could have been you.
I wanted to give someone else a chance. That's why.
Such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Let's see if TSM will give Ever a chance. But now they are, once again, I don't know. You don't need to group 4 men together. Push 3 lanes.
There's the ult on Double Lift, but guess what? He's Ezreal. Tempered Fate slows him down a little bit. Temp there. He's like, I got a gold card. Okay, they get the gold card onto Double Lift. Double Lift goes down. A kill comes in for Key, getting bloodthirsty there. Yellowstar low himself. Ever kind of split up. Key's decided to magical journey behind the team. They're going to take down Yellowstar to the bot lane. Destroyed by ESC Ever and TSM. What happened there?
Well, I feel like we just talk about it again and again and again. Whenever Team Solo Mid says, let's not split push, but like try and group together on these towers, you give Ever a chance to come back in this game. And they've just done it again.
It's still a 6K gold lead for TSM. They're still massively ahead, but
they are.
You can't do that kind of thing too many times, you know?
You just can't give up. Like, you shouldn't be giving up kills here.
Yeah, probably shouldn't be.
Double TP, play your side lanes. They keep moving Hanzo with the team. For some reason, let him get to that tower. He destroys the towers. So we're like, look here. Why is Hanzo running with Yellowstar and Double Lift in the bottom lane? This doesn't make sense and allows Ever to set up a team fight. Yes, they lose one member down here in the bottom of your screen, but they still pick up 2 kills and they slow down the game, which is all they're looking for, because as long as the game is slowed down and they have more chances of fighting, there's more chances of comebacks, despite them still being so far behind.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Ever wants, is they just want as many fights as they can. So either they can come back or they just lose faster, and then they can move on with their lives.
Right. And look at the next game, Origin versus RNG, because obviously the loser of this game will face the loser of that match in a BO3 later today.
Well, TSM has been able to maintain Dragon control, at least. That's their second Dragon, and since we are on 6.3 in this tournament, that Dragon did have those buff changes, and so it's a big deal. Second Dragon means a lot more than it used to.
Yeah, I really like the second Dragon buff for split pushes now.
Yeah.
Because you often just get a few hits on tower, then you have to back away.
Yeah,
get that debuff on the tower. I want to see them use these pings though, place them around the Baron, so you have another threat. Enemy jungle and then the river near the Baron, so you can see the 2 wards from Ever, you want to clear them out. So in case Ever is sitting too far back, you can always rush that Baron. Gives you just another win opportunity, basically, if you are Team Solo Mid. But again, they've been playing greedy, like being so far ahead and then still giving up kills.
Do you feel like Tempt should have maybe gone for a Zonius at this point with the amount of aggression they're going to need to do to get back in this game? Do you think it's really smart to go for Abyssal Scepter second?
I mean, he's doing it because he's been standing toe-to-toe with Bjergsen for quite some time, but I do agree with you. Zonius is super important
Ares
for him.
gets grabbed, a lot of trouble, gets ulted, and there's an easy kill and an easy turret for TSM. Tempt caught completely now, has that gold card loaded up, able to flash away. Yellowstar taking some damage, but Ever overall on the defensive. Close call there for Tempt, but he got out, and now TSM just rotating up to top lane.
This time around, Team Solo Mid gets a kill, gets tower. Top tower is also open. So there's so many choices you can make technically when you're this far ahead.
Right.
And there shouldn't be a whole lot. Crazy's going in.
Since Garen was a bit low, Crazy is being crazy, gets taken down there. Hanser low, another kill for Ever. They trade 1 for 1. TSM pushed away from the turret for the moment. Bjergsen gets caught a little bit by that Cosmic Binding. Tempt needs to be careful, man. He's so low. Look at this. Bjergsen just shredded, though. And somehow, some way, Ever has managed to push TSM away from this top lane turret. Just a little bit too much poke, it seems like.
2 top laners going down. Loken, oh, he's looking for more, not able to find it, but again, it actually forces Team Solo Mid back in base. So you kind of reset the map one more time. It gives you a chance to ward up the Baron now.
Whoa, Bjergsen getting really low, and they get him.
He gets
manages to finish him off in the end, and whoa, that was a good catch for Ever. And it's stuff like this. I don't know, man. We knew it was going to be messy. I didn't think it'd be messy quite in this way.
I definitely expected Team Solo Mid to be able to play this a lot cleaner after such a great start. Here, top laners goes down, and then it's super difficult. TSM, they want to stay and keep poking, but they can't really dive the turret. It actually gives a lot of chances for escape now. For escape for Ever to deal some damage. Loken not getting double lift.
I mean, and I really got to say, Key is making so many, well, can I say key plays in this game? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I had to do that.
It's probably his ward as well. What a key ward from him.
Yeah, exactly. Takes a magical journey and sends Bjergsen on a journey to the afterlife. Man.
It is surprising, though, a team that's been so far behind has had wards in the enemy jungle. So, like, that's why Bjergsen never expected it to be a ward in the first place. He just recalls.
I mean, yeah, you can't really blame him for recalling in that bush too much, but Ever was ready. They are ever ready.
Let's see now. We get your Hourglass. It is delayed, but also Tempt. Like, Hourglass is such an expensive item now. So getting it as a second item when you're behind, ooh, it leaves you also super weak. I think he wanted more immediate impact after having to go Rod of Ages first. Now he's going to get the Hourglass, so it's good for him for his team fights.
Yeah, really good, actually. I mean, it gives Ever a lot more options as far as getting that Twisted Fate into the back lines and zone using to let the team catch up. I mean, Key's Tempered Fates have been great. That's another way to split up the team fight a bit.
I would have liked to see Loken go for a third item QSS instead of the BF sword against Lysandra. Also against Fiora ulti, you can QSS that one. It's going to be such a key pick, otherwise Bjergsen can't find one shot. He gets caught.
Gets grabbed, takes a culling, pops that Zonia's. Svenskeren coming in, Tempered Fate locks him up. And how are they going to go after this now? Bjergsen really low. They use that Graves ultimate for the damage. Yellowstar pushing him away. Nice ult by Bjergsen, comes in, ults himself, pushes Ares away. He's low. But meanwhile, Bjergsen can't quite take the heat. He gets melted literally because he's Lysandra, get it? And they get Yellowstar too. Ever
have you seen this
winning
before?
Fight after fight.
I mean, Team Solo Mid, you tried this 4 times now. Every time you tried it, the best outcome possible you ever had was getting 1 kill and a tower.
Dude.
Every other time you've been losing kills. Why is this team constantly just saying, let's just keep going 5? We have great side lane control. Nah, let's run 5-man. And once again, this is what Ever's comp can do. It can team fight. Big Nautilus, Key with some fantastic ultis on
Why
the
does
bar.
he go in here?
They panic. It's a panic call almost from TSM saying, hey, they're engaging on us. Let's re-engage. I can get a 5-man ulti as Lissandra, and they jump in. But you're under tower.
Yeah. You're under tower, and Ever has a lot of health left over on their team. Ares was low, but that was really about it. And, I mean, you look at the timing with the hook from Crazy, too. He just timed that perfectly after Bjergsen came out of his ultimate. And with the health total, there was just no way he was getting out. And so now, Ever is looking at a situation where the gold lead is actually shrinking for TSM.
Yes.
They brought it down to 5K, and now, you know, I feel like as you get closer and closer to 50,000 gold for each team, the gold leads start to matter less and less.
Of course, and this late game scaling Team Solomid had with Ezreal, with the Fiora, it is still fantastic scaling.
Oh, yeah.
But the main part of Fiora is in her 1v1. She can beat anyone in the late game. So if you keep putting her into a team fight, her impact, her value is of course a lot lower, because the Nautilus is a fantastic team fight, a big frontline tank, hard for an Ezreal to kill these tanks, and also Bjergsen is diving the backline, so there's no one to really kill Crazy in the fights, because it's just double lift basically hitting him on his own. So their comp is not built to straight up 5-on-5 ever, and that's really a big issue. You need like a perfect flank, basically.
Yeah.
But now we got that QSS we talked about before from Logan.
That's huge.
We got the Hourglass, so we have defensive options now to stop this flank from one-shotting anyone.
Well, the fight gets even better for ESC Ever right now. You know, I mean, TSM obviously still in the lead in a big way. They're way up on turrets, they're way up on gold, still way up on kills, but
Yeah.
it is the last, 10 minutes or so have been all ESC Ever.
And now Team Solomid is actually looking to swap lanes. They want Bjergsen on top side to push in for himself, just to have pressure on tower, and
Right.
you just want Doublelift to push the bottom lane in, and then he can rotate with his jungle and support to the 2 side lanes. They're gonna show 4-man here. This means Ever can also see, okay, it's gonna be 4-man. We have seen them push it in. We know what's happening. But you wanna single out Ever.
Oh, TP actually Crazy coming from behind. We'll see what they can do.
He's on
A little
double
bit
lift,
disjointed.
and
Yeah,
the
he's
grump.
doing it. There's the ult. Yellowstar on his own. Double lift taking damage from that camp as well. Yellowstar flashes, gets hooked by Crazy, gets taken out. Ever winning yet another team fight, unless Hanser can try to turn it around with that Fiora, but he's on his own. Key goes in there a little bit too deep, but they do trade. Bjergsen will ult himself. Hanser trying to zone Loken out. He's going to go over the wall. That's a good place to be away from a Fiora, but it is a double kill coming in from Doublelift. Doublelift grabs the triple. He's turning the spider around in a big way. There's the Quadra. Can he go for the Penta? He's only got to kill Crazy. Crazy getting back to his turret. Hunter setting it up. Penta kill for Doublelift. And TSM takes that lead right back in a big way.
And it looked pretty bad at first in this fight here, but then Doublelift and the rest of Team Solomid kiting back. This late game Ezreal here, fully stacked tier.
Helps.
Just poking, it definitely helps.
Yep.
Just poking and poking and poking until Ever overextends slightly.
Yeah, and I mean, now that's going to probably be an inhibitor. That's going to be a lead that really seems insurmountable by Ever now.
We've said that before, though.
We have, but we really mean it this time.
This time we're serious. All right, let's see the
Yeah.
fight. I like this engage because you get that team fight one more time from Ever. Grump dealing damage, Doublelift is locked up, he's not able to do a whole lot, and the Nautilus is in the front line. All you can hit if your Team Solomid is the Nautilus, and that's the perfect positioning for Ever. And now, they do start overextending, Key jumping in, dying early on. Temp can't really do a whole lot, and Crazy was no longer the target. And just look at Doublelift sitting in the back here, waiting for someone to drop low and for Ever to split up. Then you start single them out with the Ezreal. Gets the kill onto Tempt. Crazy in the end. We have red buff. Slow from Iceborne Gauntlet. Nothing he can do. And beautiful pentakill from Doublelift.
Yeah.
Looking tricky in the start.
Yeah, it was a little bit, and I mean, by no means this has been a very clean game by either team. I mean, TSM giving up a lot of that big lead they developed, but, really kind of maybe putting a period on the end of this one with a pentakill for Doublelift, and after a team fight like that, I mean, we'll see what happens, but you'd think TSM would kind of have the momentum now.
They've been having it almost all game long, we would think at least, and yet I feel like it's so often been the...
Doublelift has a lot of kills.
Let's see. Breaks their BT shield only. But it's been like kind of the suboptimal plays from Team Solomid, where they've been getting a little bit, but not as much as they could have been getting.
Yeah.
Until now, this outplay basically from Doublelift and the rest of the team in the last fight. Good positioning for him. 4 items completed. Last Whisper coming in like he's so strong. And we have hit that late game point where Ever technically shouldn't be able to do a whole lot when you're this far ahead with your AD carry.
Well, I mean, we've seen, though, that they are, for the most part, a pretty good team-fighting team. TSM really can't give these guys, any opportunities, because they will take them. But right now, it seems like we're seeing a pretty methodical closure of this game by TSM. They're just going to run up to the Baron while Hanser pushes down the bot lane.
I mean, we see a bit of a change because now they have been putting pink wards in the river near the Baron. They've put up the option of going for Baron.
There's no TP for Hanser, though.
Crazy as well as running.
Yeah, no teleport for Crazy either. They're trying to get up there. He's going to have a hard time catching up to that Fiora. Ever pushes him off the Baron for the moment anyway, but TSM can go after this fight. Hanser coming in. There's the ult onto Key. He's not going to last long. True shot. Barrage comes through. Nice snipe by Doublelift onto Key. And yeah, Ever not in a position to win this team fight, but TSM is just so strong right now. They can bait that fight all day.
Over and over and over. You have the pink wards in position. You force them to move out. Doublelift kind of goes your kill, my kill again. 10-1 now on this Ezreal. Super fed.
Yeah, there's a pretty massive scoreline on Doublelift's Ezreal, and they're going to go after the Baron again.
As long as Team Solomid disengage from Baron to take the fight, it's a good play. It's very risky opting into a 50-50 smite. Yellowstar's going to zone. They can now go for the fight.
Yep, that's right. Crazy kind of on his own in the middle of this fight. He's tanky, but he's not tanky enough to 1v5. Just jumps onto Bjergsen. Ever having to back away now. It's 3v5. TSM can just turn back and put more pressure onto that Baron if they want to. Shot Barrage, just taking a chunk out of some of the members. And are they going to go in this Doublelift? Wow, getting aggressive. that's
a little bit too manly.
A little bit risky there,
A little bit too manly.
You got a pentacle, buddy. That's great, but that's maybe a little bit too much.
So they go back to base one more time.
Yeah.
Kind of reset it again. Only one Nexus turret.
Yeah, that's something we didn't mention, that through all that, a Nexus turret did fall just to minions in Ever's base.
But let's just see TSM go back to pushing side lanes and then set up the Baron one more time. At this point, though, sell your Doran's Blade, sell your Corruption Potion. You don't need them anymore.
Sell your
Ring.
Doran's Blade? What are you,
the Doran's
crazy?
Ring. I know, the one ring to rule them all, but still, get a pink ward, man.
It might not be bad, yeah.
You don't want the 80 HP the Doran's
You
ring
might not need that Doran's Blade that
60
much
HP,
if you're looking right now.
60 HP even.
Wow, 60. I thought you were an analyst.
Yeah, sorry. The numbers, man, the numbers. Pretty sure Doran's Blade is 80, though.
Oh.
Unless I'm completely wrong on all of them.
I have no idea, so I'll just believe whatever you tell me. Another Baron attempt coming in for TSM. And we'll see if there's anything at all Ever can do. They see it going on.
Crazy has TP.
He does.
So does Temp. They can actually go in and stop it. But TSM might try and look to finish the game, or at least take inhib. If they're forcing their other members to be busy from Ever and just stop the recalls, they get a TP now.
All right, Temp comes down with his ultimate to get a little bit closer to Hanser and Bjergsen, trying to do what they can to save that inhibitor, but TSM's just going to 3-man the Baron. Loken, Key, and Ares going to try to do something about it. TSM backs off it right away, though. Baron's still unclaimed by anyone. TSM chasing Ever. Meanwhile, down in the bot lane, Bjergsen and Hanser still pressuring that bottom inhibitor. Yeah, Loken just chunked out. There's really not much Ever can do. There's the TP. They really want the Baron this time.
Yeah, you're just getting pulled around the map, honestly. Go stop Baron, go stop inhib, stop Baron again, and you're not strong enough. You don't have the resources to do it at this point. No ulti from Temp, that's what they forced out. One more time, though, they're setting up the Baron. They should just disengage and take the fight, unless they can keep Ares busy.
Yeah, teleport coming in from Bjergsen. Ares trapped by that Lissandra ultimate, gets destroyed pretty quick.
Good way to keep him busy, I guess.
I suppose. I mean, they'll be able to take this Baron eventually, you'd think, although they're starting to take some decent damage. Scarin taking a lot. There's the culling use. Key, Magical Journeys his way out. Yellowstar pops that out. Very, very tanky as Crazy backs away. Hanser and Doublelift trying to get into the back lines onto Temp and Key. Temp tries to back away. Crazy comes over the wall to stop Hanser. There's the exhaust pulled back in again. Still healed, still healthy enough. Loken in the back lines trying to be a hero, though. Doublelift gets low. Loken gets the kill onto Doublelift. Bjergsen lopes out too. There's the kill for Temp. There's a double kill for Temp. And incredibly, TSM gets aced. Are you kidding me? What is going on?
Dude, you lied to everyone. You said this was supposed to be a win.
I mean, they can't finish the game. They've got to go through the entire, mid lane.
But
that's
that's a
only
lot
their
of
second
gold.
turn of the game. They can probably take the inhibitor, right?
You get in here right now and you stop another Baron from Team Solo Mid. Again, we are constantly looking at a composition who wants to split push, getting into team fights over and over and over and over. I didn't hate the Baron start because they popped the Graves instantly. But
Are
then,
they going to go for it?
I mean,
think
can
they're
they
gonna
finish
go
it? They
for
got 15
They have time.
seconds.
They actually
That's
have
it.
time. Are you serious? Are you actually telling me right now that TSM
minions
is going
now.
to lose the ESC Ever? They've got minions. There goes the first Nexus turret. Double it back in 6. Yellow Star's up. There goes the second Nexus turret. All they need to do is focus on the Nexus. They just need to focus on the Nexus. And ESC Ever, challenger team from Korea, will take out TSM.
They did it.
Oh, they get it. Ever, somehow, some way, they were down like 8,000 gold in the early game.
They're down all
and
game
they
long.
won it.
Level 1.
I cannot believe it. The coach is ecstatic. Can't blame that guy. What an insane game to start off the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. Double if with the pentakill. ESC Ever coming in and taking the win.
You lied to us.
I'm sorry. I thought I was telling the truth. We're going to throw it over to the experts on the analyst desk to try to figure out what's going on in just a second. But Deficio, your last word on this one.
Team Solo
I
Mid's
don't know,
shot
man.
calling is a mess, and that's why they end up losing this game. They were so far ahead.
Yeah, they were so far ahead. I don't know. They had 2 inhibitors down on the side of Ever.
They were pulling them to Baron back to base.
They were
could
baiting
honestly,
successfully.
they could just keep the Fiora on the bottom lane, and no one could stop Hanser.
That's right. And I don't know. I mean, let's hear what the experts have to say, guys, over at the desk.
I mean, what can we say?
What
The
an
Baron.
absolute disaster.
The Baron strikes again, but there were bigger problems before the Baron. TSM did not play the map at all.
All right, so credit to TSM. I actually think that what their coaching staff did here in terms of preparing them to play this game, we almost never see these deep ward invades in the lane swap anymore. They were able to catch somebody out. And like I said, Ever uses globals on cooldown. Soon as TF hits level 6, they start trying to make plays, but they're already behind. And Bjergsen reacts really well from the teleport. But everything else from TSM from that point forward was appalling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, we have a replay that can
Brilliant.
actually highlight one of those plays.
I mean-
TSM built up a great lead. Let's pull the first replay up onto your screen. This is 25 minutes into the game. TSM already had a very strong lead, and this is where they get turned on.
See,
And
we
Well-
can just roll the clip right now, and it just highlights some key issues that TSM is having. One, they shouldn't even be here, 5v5. You don't play into Ever's hand. If you look at what Doublelift is doing on the side, he's trying to deal with the jungler Graves, who is incredibly tanky. He wastes his ultimate. Look at Bjergsen right now. Right when he goes in for a 5-man W, if Doublelift still had his ulti available, maybe they can win a team fight. But they're so disjointed in their approach, and they don't respect the CC chaining from TF, from Bard, in literally every single fight. They split push to open up the game, and then they go for the Baron Fiesta right after. But TSM don't understand how to play to their win condition or the win condition of their opponents.
Well, this is what I was talking about, is that every single game from TSM is the 5-man death ball. For some reason, they always think they need to get together as 5 people in the mid game. You had an extremely fed Fiora. Don't walk into a fight, like you're saying, with the crowd control.
And they have so much opt-out.
Every few seconds, it's a Nautilus auto, or a Bard Q, or a gold card. The longer you're in these fights, you're just going to get stunned over and over and over again, and that allows this Lucian to do a lot of work from the back line.
12 kill Ezreal in there. Doublelift was fed to hell.
But it works if you kite towards you, especially if you look at imagine if they split, like Fiora on the side, maybe Lissandra somewhere else, Lissandra anyway. If they engage on you and they try to force, you can opt out of fights with Cocoon, with sending Alistar in. You could have sent Alistar in to suicide, peel the Graves away, and did Baron literally 4 times in a row. But TSM was like, nope, no, we're gonna turn, we're gonna fight here to get one of the guys. Oh look, they still have like 20 million forms of CC left.
We're going to hopefully get to that replay. Let's pull up the pentakill, because I want to hit on this Ezreal penta from Doublelift first of all. Starts off maybe looking a little scary for Yellow Star.
It starts off good for Ever. Ever should get the kills here and then back out. As soon as Bjergsen appeared, just like, get the hell out of there.
Yeah, just the key issues here again. Look at the chain CC. It's so hard to get away now from TSM when they get in too deep, and then this portal kind of turns it all around.
Yeah, he went a bit deep.
Yeah. Monty, what's your take on this team fight? ESC, you said in the pregame, they're aggressive over and over and over.
Bjergsen saved this team fight. I mean, he played the Lissandra really well. It's actually one of my favorite champions to watch Bjergsen play, and I know he can split push on it, but getting in that position, in the choke point, in the tri-brush, with his W, with his ultimate, allowed Doublelift to kind of turn this fight in the end and stall them from pursuing too far forward with the Bard. I think it was a mistake for Key to go in the first place, but then it was capitalized on very well by Bjergsen.
It was just risky. He wanted to get the double stun on the Fiora there, but if that the cost of the failure of that play was just the entire team fight, so that's a risky play to take. But the Ever doesn't seem to be afraid to.
No, they are not afraid.
They're not.
They just attacked.
And we see, like, you know, coming into this game, we say Ever sometimes just ridiculously aggressive. They played that level 1 really poorly. They even had a ward, and they still tried to attack them at the grump. Like, why would you even do that? You just gave up a kill. Just stop pressing the no more pedal to the metal here. But that's the only way they play.
We will get back to talk a little bit more about this matchup in a moment or two. I believe an interview is ready with Key on stage.
Yeah, thank you very much, Trevor. It definitely is ready. First off, congratulations, Key. Fantastic taking down TSM. In your own words, even with a pentakill against you, how did you guys pull that game back?
첫 번째로 너무나 축하하고 진짜 갔다 왔다 하는 경기였고 펜타킬까지 당했는데 어떻게 해서 팀이 이겼던 것 같아?
일단 이긴 게 너무 좀 벅차서 몸이 좀 지렸고요. 그러니까
He's a little bit nervous, guys, just because they've won right now. He can't handle it at the moment, so if you'll bear with him.
그리고 뭐라 했죠? 질문이 뭐였죠?
어떻게 이겨난 것 같은지 어떻게 해서 이겼어?
그러니까 잘 모르겠는데 진짜 집중을 좀 많이 해서 이긴 것 같아요.
He said, I'm not actually sure how we won, but I think it's just because we concentrated really hard, and that's how they were able to pull off the win.
Well, I can understand that you're nervous. A fantastic game. Maybe it's easier for you to talk about the Bard you played here. How was it being able to really influence that game on a champion you love so much?
그러면은 지금 좀 긴장이 되고 있는 상태니까 그럼 바드에 대해서 좀 얘기하자고 하네. 그 바드가 너한테 얼마나 중요한 챔피언이었고 그거에 대해서 좀 얘기해줘.
그러니까 바드를 많이 했는데 최근 들어서 많이 안 했는데 오랜만에 한 건데 이렇게 잘 돼서 매우 좋고. 바드는 진짜 너무 좋은 것 같아요.
Okay, first off, he really likes Bard. He said, I used to play him a lot, actually, but recently he hasn't been. And so pulling him out in this game, he was kind of a little bit worried, but he's very glad that it worked out because he really likes Bard a lot.
Definitely does. Final question. I mean, Key, you guys came into IEM Cologne as underdogs and you won the whole thing. Now you take down TSM in your first game. How far can your team go here?
이제 IEM 컬론 때도 완전 다커스로 왔는데 그때는 우승까지 갔었잖아. 여기에서도 이제 TSM 꺾고 다음 경기를 들어갈 건데 여기서는 어디까지 갈 것 같아?
일단 처음에 너무 말려서 좀 힘들었는데 말리지 않으면 일단 그래도 4강까지는 갈 수 있을 것 같은.
He said in the beginning of the game they did get caught out quite a bit, but if they just work on that part of it, then possibly they want to be able to make it to the quarterfinals.
Well, I'm very excited to see what you guys can do. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Susie, for helping out as well. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Sharks, Susie, and congratulations to Key once more. I do want to jump to the third replay that we talked about just before the interview was set up, and it was the big Baron play that cost TSM the game. Let's pull it up onto your screen, and Crepo, if you can break down some of the mechanics here of how TSM got punished so hard.
I mean, just TSM kept turning over and over again instead of finishing the Baron, and then at one point you could just really feel this great disturbance in the shot calling. It's like a million TSM fans suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silent. Something terrible happened and TSM threw the game.
Well, look at this. I mean, they spent so much time going to the Baron. Svenskron's already so low at the start of this fight because they turn over and over and over, let the Baron heal instead of just using Yellowstar to play defense and stop them from getting into the pit.
That flash was absolutely fundamental from the Nautilus to win that fight. He flashes over CCs while Bjergsen's stuck in the back. These guys are actually really good at stepping forward and backwards in fights, knowing which cooldowns are up. They never layer any CC. At no given point was any Nautilus snare combined with a stun overlap. It's always pause in between the CCs. So snare into stun from TF, into double stun from Bard, into a new card that gets drawn. Suddenly Riptide comes out. Yep. So much crowd control, and TSM was just lost. They didn't account for any of these niche abilities like the Tempered Fate, the smoke screens in this fight, and they they were like, yeah, let's fight. We lost.
And their pure aggression is what finished the game, because we were even saying, it's like, there's no way they can finish the game now. Most teams would have got to that stage, like, took a Nexus turret and it's like, okay, time to back away. Everyone's spawning, but they were actually like, no, hell no. We just carried on hitting it.
And Ever went on to finish the game after punishing that. They closed the map out. Quick shout out to, if Plays.tv was being used as a Chrome extension, it would have allowed Ever or Doublelift to record a clip direct from his browser with a hotkey and share it on Reddit or Twitter. Go check out Plays.tv, just do a search in the Google Play Store, and you can share all of your best plays on social media. TSM fall at the first hurdle. We're going to an ad break, and when we come back, it'll be Origin against Royal Never Give Up.